All the girls liked him, but the black woman who ignored him became the one he couldn't forget. Subscribe and tell us where you're watching us from today. The morning sun came through the big windows of Glamour Styles headquarters. The light bounced off the shiny glass and tall buildings in the city. Serena Reed walked quickly through the big, turning doors. She wore a simple black dress and a blazer. Most of the women in the building wore bright and fancy clothes, but Serena liked to keep things simple. "Good morning, Serena," the security guard said with a smile. "Good morning, Joe," Serena said happily. She always smiled and stopped to talk, even though many important people just walked by without saying anything. "How did Sophia do in the big soccer game?" Joe's face lit up. "She scored 3 goals. Can you believe it? My little girl." Serena smiled warmly. "That's amazing. Please tell her I said congratulations." This was just how Serena was. She always saw and cared about people that others ignored. She liked to know their real stories, even if they weren't on the news or on the internet. Serena was only 27 years old, but she had already learned that real friendships came from little honest moments. In the elevator, Serena checked her phone. She had a meeting soon, the quarterly campaign review with the CEO. "Oh, great," she thought. Cairo Ree had become the boss 2 years ago. His dad used to run the company, but now Cairo was in charge and had made it very famous around the world. He was always on magazine covers. People talked about who he was dating and his big boat parties. He had a smirk on his face in every photo that made Serena roll her eyes. She didn't look up stories about him, but it was hard to avoid hearing about him all the time. The elevator doors opened on the 30th floor. Serena walked to her desk. Her desk was neat. There was a small plant, a photo of her mom, and some notebooks. No toys, no mess. "He's already here," whispered her coworker, Zoe, who popped up next to her desk. Zoe was very different from Serena. She was loud, loved drama, and always wanted the big bosses to notice her. "Cairo Ree is right here, wearing that blue suit that makes his eyes look like the ocean," Zoe whispered. Serena tried not to laugh. "I'm sure his eyes are nice, but I care more about him saying yes to my skincare campaign. I worked on that for weeks." "Wow, Serena, you're the only woman here who wouldn't give up a kidney just to talk to that man." "I like my kidneys just fine," Serena said with a little smile as she grabbed her notes and laptop. "Is everyone in the conference room already?" The big glass conference room was full of people when Serena walked in. 6 bosses and their helpers were sitting at the long table. Everyone kept peeking at the man standing by the window. Even Serena had to admit it. Cairo Ree looked powerful. He was tall, had dark, messy hair, and blue eyes that stood out against his tan skin. He was on the phone talking quietly. Serena sat in the back. She opened her laptop and looked at her notes. No fixing her hair, no smoothing her dress. She came here to do her job. "Let's get started," Cairo said. His voice was strong. He sat at the head of the table. "I have a flight to Milan in 3 hours, so let's keep this short." The marketing director, Richard Palmer, began talking about numbers and customers. Serena noticed how some women leaned forward and laughed too loudly at Cairo's jokes. Her mom had warned her about that. "Never let a man know how much you want his attention," her mom, Catherine Reed, had said. "That's how they break your heart." Serena's dad had been handsome and charming too, but he left when she was 8 years old. He told them he was going to the store, but he never came back. Her mom had raised her all alone. Even when her mom got sick with cancer, she still hoped he would come back, but he never did. "Miss Reed, your campaign?" Cairo was looking at her. The room went quiet. "Yes, of course," Serena said. She stood up and connected her laptop to the screen. While others had seemed nervous, Serena moved calmly. She didn't try to show off, she just shared her work. "The Harmony skincare line is for women over 40. These women want to feel beautiful in a real way," she said. "The main message is, real beauty doesn't hide. It means we don't need to cover ourselves with too much makeup." We can be proud of how we really look. Her slides were clean and pretty. After she finished, she didn't look at Cairo. She just sat down and waited. "That's refreshing," Cairo said. "No tricks, no lies, just a clear message for a good product." He leaned forward. "Who came up with that idea, Miss Reed?" Before Serena could speak, Richard said, "She did. She's one of our best writers. Been here for 3 years." Cairo looked at her again, like he was trying to figure her out. Serena looked back, politely, but without the silly smile he probably saw all the time. "Well done, Miss Reed. I'd like to see more like this." "Thank you, Mr. Reed," she said. The meeting kept going, but Serena noticed something had changed. Cairo kept looking at her. It didn't feel like a boss checking on an employee. It felt different. When the meeting ended, people started leaving. Serena packed her laptop. Cairo came up to her. "Miss Reed, do you have a moment?" He was very tall and his suit fit him perfectly. But Serena didn't blush or act silly like Zoe might. "Of course, Mr. Reed. I'm curious about you," he said. "You don't act like most people here." Was that a good thing or a bad thing? Serena wasn't sure. "I believe the work should speak for itself," she said. "Most people try hard to impress me," he said. "I'm trying to impress the people who buy our products," Serena said. "They're the ones who matter." Cairo looked surprised. Then he smiled a little. "That's a new way of thinking around here." He tilted his head. "Have dinner with me tonight. I'd like to hear more of your ideas." There it was. Serena had seen this before. Important men pretending to help but really wanting something else. "Thank you for the offer, Mr. Reed, but I have plans tonight," she said kindly but clearly. "How about tomorrow?" "I'm busy this week," she said. "But I'd be happy to set up a meeting with your assistant if you want to talk about work." Cairo looked surprised. He wasn't used to hearing no. Then he laughed for real, not like the fake laugh in magazines. "By all means, Miss Reed, but don't let me keep you." Serena nodded and walked away. She knew he was watching her, but she didn't look back. Later in the break room, "He asked you to dinner and you said no?" Zoe shouted. "Are you crazy? Women would fight for that." Serena calmly stirred her tea. "It wasn't right. He's the boss. He's Cairo freaking Reed. He dated a model and that Italian actress, and now he wants to have dinner with you." "Exactly," Serena said. "Men like that don't really fall in love with women like me. They get bored, they move on, and you're left with a broken heart and everyone gossiping about you." "Not everything is a sad love story, Serena," Zoe said. "Maybe he just wants dinner with a smart woman." "And I just want to do my job," Serena said. "No drama." She checked her watch. "I need to finish the Ocean Breeze copy before 5. But as she walked back, Serena kept thinking about Cairo's face when she told him no. He didn't look angry, just curious, like he had never met someone like her before. The next morning, there was a cup on Serena's desk, not from the usual coffee cart. It was from Café Laurent, a fancy French place. A note stood beside it. "Their tea is better. Next time." Zoe almost fainted when she saw it. "He remembered you don't drink coffee. That's it. He's in love with you." "He's bored," Serena said, "and I'm something new to him." But still, something fluttered in her chest. She shook it off and got to work. That afternoon, Cairo came to her desk. Not with flowers, just casually. "Miss Reed, I need someone to look over the words for the Milan fashion show. Richard said you'd be perfect." Everyone nearby stopped typing. They were staring. "Of course," Serena said calmly. "Do you need it now?" "Yes, in my office." She got her notebook and pen. Zoe gave her a big wink. Serena ignored it and followed Cairo. His office was huge. It was full of glass, art, and had a view of the whole city. She had never been up here before. "Please sit," Cairo said. He pointed to a soft couch, not the stiff office chairs. It didn't feel like a normal work meeting, but Serena stayed calm. Cairo poured 2 glasses of water. "I don't know how you take your tea," he said, "but everyone drinks water." "Thank you," she said, surprised by his thoughtfulness. "Let's talk about the Milan work." He sat near her. Not too close, but close enough that she could smell his cologne. It was nice and soft. But first, he said, I want to say sorry if my dinner invite made you uncomfortable. Serena didn't expect that. Most powerful men didn't say sorry. It's okay, Mr. Rhee. Please, call me Cairo, he said with a small smile, not his usual magazine smile. This one was real. And no, it's not okay. I should have been more professional. Serena didn't know what to say. The truth is, Cairo said, your talk yesterday was the most honest thing I've heard in this office in a long time. No flattery, no tricks, just real work. He leaned back. That's rare in my world. There was something soft in Cairo Reese's eyes. He looked kind, which was a little surprising because he always looked so perfect and serious. I'm just doing my job, Serena said, feeling a little nervous. And I'm making it awkward, Cairo said with a small laugh. Let's start again. I have the Milan paper here, and I'd really like your help. He gave her a folder, and for the next hour, they worked side by side. They talked about words and messages for the project. Cairo listened carefully, asked smart questions, and never acted strange. As they finished, the sun was setting and the office looked golden. This was helpful, Cairo said as Serena picked up her things. Thank you, Miss Reed, Serena. The way he said her name made her heart skip a beat. You're welcome, Cairo, she said, feeling unsure. As she turned to leave, he said, Would it be okay if I asked you to go for tea? Not dinner, just tea. In the daytime, in a public place. Serena paused. She usually didn't get close to men like him. But today, Cairo had seemed real, not just the CEO on magazines. I think that would be okay, she said quietly. His smile was warm, like a sunrise. Tomorrow, I'll meet you in the lobby, he said. She nodded, her voice too quiet to speak. In the elevator, she felt his eyes on her. Just before the doors closed, she looked back. He was still watching her with that gentle smile. When she got to her desk, she found a small envelope. Inside was a note. Every woman wants something from me. You're the only one who never asked. So now I'm asking, what would it take for you to look at me the way I look at you? Serena's fingers shook as she folded the note. Maybe her heart didn't need a wall around it anymore. That night, Serena couldn't sleep. The note was on her nightstand. She looked at it again and again. What am I doing? She whispered. Her mom's favorite painting hung on the wall. It showed peaceful hills. It was one of the few things she still had after her mom, Catherine, passed away. What would you tell me to do, Mom? She asked. Catherine was practical, but she also believed in taking chances before her heart was broken. The next morning, Serena wore a dark green dress. It was simple, but it made her feel good. Look at you, said Zoe at work. Hot date? Just tea, Serena said, but her stomach was full of butterflies. With the CEO, Zoe said with a grin. Half the women in this office are jealous. It's a work meeting, Serena said. Sure, Zoe giggled. That's why he keeps staring at the elevator like he's waiting for someone. Serena looked. Cairo was at his assistant's desk, pretending to work. Then he looked up. Their eyes met. He smiled again, the same warm smile. Serena quickly turned back to her computer, her face warm. At 1, she took the elevator down. Cairo was waiting, wearing dark jeans and a blue shirt. He looked so relaxed. You came, he said. I said I would, she replied. Where are we going? There's a tea shop 2 blocks away. They have tea from all over the world, unless you want to go somewhere else. They walked together. Flowers were blooming along the sidewalk. They weren't close, but not far either. I found your note, Serena said. Cairo ran a hand through his hair. Too forward? Honest, she said, but I don't know what you want from me. I don't expect anything, Cairo said. That's why you're different. He looked serious. Most people want something, money, power, connections. But when you looked at me in the meeting, you just saw a person. They reached the tea shop. It was small and pretty with tea tins everywhere. The hostess knew Cairo and gave them a private table. The jasmine pearl tea is great, Cairo said, but there are lots of choices. I'll try the Darjeeling, Serena said. As they waited, things got quiet. She looked at his face, noticing little things, how his eyebrows scrunched when he thought, how his smile was crooked. "Tell me about your family," Cairo asked. "It's just me now," Serena said. "My mom died 3 years ago. Cancer. I'm sorry." "Were you close?" he asked. "Yes. She raised me alone. My dad left when I was 8, went to get milk and never came back." Cairo looked upset. "That's not okay." Their tea came. After a sip, Serena asked, "What about your family?" "My dad built the company," Cairo said. "He always wanted perfection." He sipped his tea. "My mom lives in France. They got divorced when I was 12. That must have been hard. It taught me people leave," Cairo said, "when they get what they want." "Not all people," Serena said softly. They looked at each other. "Is that why you said no to dinner?" he asked. "You thought I'd disappear?" "Yes," she said. "Men like you." "Don't say men like you," Cairo said gently. "You don't really know me." "You're right. I'm sorry," she said. "But your reputation? What if I'm looking for something real with the right person?" Before she could answer, his phone buzzed. He looked at it and frowned. "I'm sorry. It's Milan. There's a problem. I have to fly out tonight." "Of course," Serena said. "You have work." Cairo reached for her hand. It was warm and gentle. "I want to talk more when I get back. Will you wait?" She knew what he meant. Would she give him a chance? "I'll be here," she said. "I have deadlines anyway." His smile came back. "I'll call you." After he left, Serena sat there thinking. Was she opening her heart too soon? But Cairo felt real, not fake. 2 weeks turned into 3. He sent a few texts, a photo of a sunrise, a quick update, a thinking of you. "You're checking your phone a lot," Zoe said one night. "I'm working," Serena said. "Sure, he lives in a different world, but maybe he wants you in it," Zoe said. One Friday afternoon, a package came. Inside was a tin of Darjeeling tea and a note. "I'll be back tomorrow. Have dinner with me." Serena's hands shook as she replied, "Yes." He texted back right away. "I'll pick you up at 7. Send me your address." That night, Serena looked through her closet. Nothing felt good enough. Then she saw the black dress her mom made her buy for special days. At exactly 7, the doorbell rang. Serena took a deep breath and opened the door. Cairo stood there in a dark suit, no tie, and holding wildflowers. He looked more handsome than ever. "You look beautiful," he said, smiling at her. "Thank you," Serena whispered. "Come in while I get my purse." Cairo walked into Serena's small apartment and looked around with interest. Serena had cleaned everything quickly that afternoon, but her home was still simple. There were bookshelves on one wall, some plain furniture, and a pretty painting her mom had made. "This is nice," Cairo said. Serena was surprised because it sounded like he really meant it. "It feels like you." "It's not a fancy place," Serena said, picking up her purse. "I've lived in fancy houses my whole life," Cairo replied, "but they usually feel cold and empty." He pointed at her bookshelves. "You read a lot?" "Yes," Serena said. "Books helped me when I was little. Mom and I didn't have much, but we always had library cards." Daman gently touched one of the books. "My dad thought reading stories was a waste of time." His voice sounded a little sad, and it made Serena want to ask more, but he had already moved toward the door. "Ready? I made a dinner reservation at Lupo's." Lupo's was a very fancy restaurant in the city, very hard to get into unless you knew someone very important. "How did you get a table so fast?" Serena asked as they walked to his shiny black car. It probably cost more than she would earn in 5 years. Daman smiled a little and opened the car door for her. "I called in a favor. The owner's son worked for my company last summer." The restaurant was just like Serena imagined, beautiful, quiet, and full of soft lights. They were taken to a private table in a quiet corner. "I thought you'd like some privacy," Daman said. "People like to take pictures when I go out." Dating someone like Daman meant always being watched. That was scary. But as the dinner went on, Serena started to forget why she was so afraid. Daman asked about her childhood, her dreams, and what she thought about many things. He listened when she spoke, not just waiting to talk, but really listening. "You're different than I thought you'd be," she said while they ate dessert. "Different good or different bad?" "Good," she said. "You feel more real." Damen smiled gently. "All my life I've been Damen Rhee, the important man. It gets tiring, but with you I feel like I can just be Damen." He reached across the table and touched her hand. His fingers felt warm and gentle, and Serena felt something like tiny fireworks inside her. She suddenly knew she was starting to fall for him, even though she had told herself not to. "Why me?" she asked. "You could be with anyone." "That's exactly why," he said. He held her hand softly. "Everyone wants Damen Rhee, but you want just Damen. And you think I do? I think you see me," he said, "the real me. And I see you too, Serena. Not just the smart copywriter or the pretty woman, but the real person. The one who loves books and takes care of everyone except herself." Serena felt like he could see right inside her, but instead of feeling scared, she felt special, really seen, for the first time in a long while. After dinner, Damen drove her home. The city lights sparkled outside the car. At her door, they stood close. It felt like something important was about to happen. "I'd like to see you again," Damen said softly. "Tomorrow?" Serena knew this was a big choice. She could stay safe and walk away, or she could take a chance. "I'd like that," she said. Damen smiled. His smile was like sunshine, and slowly leaned down. He was giving her time to move if she didn't want to kiss. But Serena didn't move. Their kiss was soft and sweet, and when it ended, they were both breathing fast. "Good night, Serena," he whispered, resting his forehead on hers. "Good night, Damen." She watched him walk away. Her world felt like it had changed. Inside her apartment, her phone buzzed. The message read, "I've been looking for you my whole life without even knowing it. Thank you for seeing me." Serena held the phone close to her heart and smiled. For the first time in years, she felt hope. The next few weeks were full of happiness. Damen took Serena to art galleries, secret restaurants, and peaceful walks in the park. At work, they acted professional, but everyone noticed something had changed. "He actually smiles in meetings now," Zoe whispered one day. Serena felt different too. She laughed more, took more chances with her ideas, and opened up in ways she hadn't since her mom passed away. But at night, she still had little worries. Damen's life was full of big events and travels. Serena liked staying home with a good book. And even though Damen paid close attention to her, she wondered, is this just fun for him? Will he get bored? One night, as they sat on her tiny balcony sharing a bottle of juice, Serena asked, "Where is this going, Damen?" He put down his glass and looked serious. "Where do you want it to go?" "That's not an answer. I'm falling in love with you, Serena." Her heart stopped. His words were clear and strong. "I know it's fast. I know you have doubts, but I've never felt this way before. You make me want to be better, not just at work, but as a person." Tears came to Serena's eyes. "I'm scared," she whispered. "Your life is so different from mine. The other women I dated before, they weren't you," he said. "They wanted my name and my money. I just wanted someone to bring to events. But you, this is real." He gently held her face. "But are you brave enough to trust this?" Just then his phone rang. It was his special ringtone for emergency calls. He looked at the screen and sighed. "It's from Tokyo. I have to take it." He stepped inside to answer. Serena stayed outside, her heart full of thoughts. Could she trust him? Could she trust herself? When Damen came back, he looked worried. "I'm sorry, but I have to leave. There's a problem at work." "Of course," Serena said. She was used to this by now. "I promise we'll talk more tomorrow." But his mind already seemed far away. The next day, Damen didn't come to the office. He didn't text or call. Serena tried to stay calm. He was just busy, right? Then Zoe ran over to her desk. "Have you seen this?" she asked, showing her phone. It was a photo from a gossip website. Rhee back with his old love, seen with Model X at Tokyo Hotel. The picture showed Damen walking into a hotel with a pretty blonde woman. His hand was on her back. Serena felt like the floor moved under her feet. Her heart cracked. "I'm sure there's a reason," Zoe said. But Serena couldn't hear anything else. Her mom had been right. Men like Damon never changed. Her phone buzzed. A message from Damon. "Need to talk? Can I come over tonight?" Of course, he wanted to end things gently. She typed quickly, "Don't bother. I saw the photo. I understand." She turned off her phone, picked up her things, and walked out of the office. She would not cry for him. She would not become her mother, waiting forever for someone who would never stay. Serena stayed inside all weekend. She didn't answer her phone. She felt angry and sad and wondered if the whole thing had been fake. By Monday, she promised herself to be strong. She would go to work and act like Damon Rhee meant nothing. But when she got there, everyone was staring at the front desk. A huge bunch of wildflowers stood in the middle of the room. It looked like the small flowers Damon had once brought, but 100 times bigger. "They're for you," Zoe said, her eyes wide. "There's probably $500 worth of flowers." Serena's heart hurt. "Take them away. Give them to a hospital." "But there's a card." "I don't want it," Serena said and walked to her desk. "If Mr. Rhee calls or comes here, I'm busy all day." Zoe followed her. "Don't you want to hear his side? That woman in the photo is Sophia Loren. They dated 2 years ago before he took over the company." "I don't care if they dated 200 years ago," Serena said. "He told me he was falling in love while he was with her in Tokyo. That's all I need to know." All morning, Damon called her desk. She didn't answer. He sent emails. She deleted them. He sent lunch from her favorite shop. She gave it away. "You're being stubborn," Zoe said while they worked. "I've heard enough," Serena said, but a little voice inside whispered, "What if there's more?" At 5, just as Serena was packing up, Richard Palmer walked up. "Miss Reed, Mr. Rhee asked you to bring the Hunter campaign copy to the executive conference room." "Can it wait? I'm leaving." He said it's urgent. So this was Damon's new plan, to make her meet him at work. Fine, she thought, but it would be all business. No more heart. She grabbed the file and followed Richard to the elevator. The office was quiet now. Most people had gone home. He opened the door to the big room. Then he quickly walked away. Cairo stood by the window and looked out at the big city. When Serena walked into the room, he turned around. He looked really tired. There were dark circles under his eyes. His hair was messy, like he had been running his hands through it again and again. "Thank you for coming," he said in a soft voice. "I didn't have much choice," Serena said. She put a file on the table and tried to sound like she was just doing her job. "Here's the copy you asked for. Do you need anything else, Mr. Rhee? I have plans tonight, so if there's nothing more—" "It wasn't what it looked like," Cairo said quickly, taking a step toward her. His eyes looked sad and worried. "Sophia is getting married to the boss of our office in Tokyo. I was just walking her into the hotel for a work dinner. Her fiancé was already waiting for us inside." Serena was surprised. She hadn't expected that. "Why should I believe you?" she asked. Cairo took out his phone and showed her a picture. In the photo, Cairo, Sophia, and an Asian man were smiling and raising their glasses at a restaurant. The man had his arm around Sophia. "That's Takashi Yamamoto," Cairo said. "They're getting married in December. I would never hurt you like that, Serena." Serena felt two things at once, relief and a little bit of shame. She had made a mistake. She thought he was with someone else, and she had walked away without giving him a chance to explain. "The gossip websites only care about clicks," Cairo said. "They cut Takashi out of the photo on purpose." He stepped closer. "I tried to call you. I sent you messages. I even sent flowers." "I thought you were letting me go," Serena said quietly. "I thought I was just one of the many women you've dated and you got bored of me." "Bored?" Cairo looked shocked. "Serena, I've never felt this way about anyone before. When you didn't answer my calls, I thought I had lost you." His voice was full of feelings, and Serena's heart softened. "I was scared," she said. "Most of the relationships in my life didn't last. People always leave. I'm not going anywhere. and Cairo said gently, taking her hands in his. She let him hold her hands. This misunderstanding showed me something, Cairo said. We need to talk clearly about what we want. I want a future with you, Serena. Not just fun or dates. I want something real. He looked into her eyes. But I need to know, can you trust me? Can you believe in us, even if the world tells you not to? That was the most important question. Could she trust him? Could she trust herself? I want to, she whispered. But I've spent so long keeping my heart safe. It's hard to stop being careful. Then we'll take it one day at a time, he said. All I ask is that you talk to me before you walk away. Please, give me a chance to explain. Can you do that? Serena nodded. The tight feeling in her chest started to go away. I'm sorry I didn't listen, she said. And I'm sorry I didn't call you when I saw the photos. Cairo stood up, gently pulled her up, and hugged her. I should have known how that photo would look, he said. Wrapped in his arms, Serena felt all her anger go away. She had almost lost something special because she was scared and didn't trust. Can we start over? She asked while resting her head on his chest. Cairo pulled back a little and smiled. How about we just keep going from where we left off? He said. He brushed a piece of hair from her face. I believe I was telling you that I'm falling in love with you. This time, Serena didn't wait. I'm falling in love with you too, she said. He kissed her gently, then the kiss grew stronger. When they stopped, both of them were out of breath. Have dinner with me tonight? Cairo asked. At my place this time. I want to cook for you. The idea of seeing Cairo's home made her feel excited. You cook? She asked. I have many secret talents, he said with a smile. Even I'm still finding some of them. Cairo's home was on the top floor of a tall building near the river. The big windows showed the city lights shining on the water. But what surprised Serena most was how warm and cozy the place felt. She had thought it would be cold and fancy like a museum, but it wasn't. The furniture looked soft and comfortable. The shelves were full of books. There were family pictures on the walls. This isn't what I imagined, she said as he took her coat. What did you imagine? Cairo laughed. Lots of shiny things and no personality. That was my dad's style. I like to actually live in my home. The kitchen was big and clean, but clearly used often. Vegetables and herbs were ready on the counter. Red or white? Cairo asked, pointing to the wine. Red, please, she said. He poured 2 glasses and handed one to her. Then he started chopping vegetables like a pro. Where did you learn to cook? Serena asked. My grandmother, he said with a sweet smile. She lived with us until I was 15. She saw me as more than the company heir. When my dad was away, she would sneak me into the kitchen to help her cook. You miss her? Serena asked. Every day, Cairo said. She would have liked you. She always said I needed someone who saw the real me. As he cooked, he told her about growing up, the pressure of taking over the company, and how he once wanted to be a photographer. He talked about his father and how hard their relationship was. When he died, people thought I'd be really sad, Cairo said. But honestly, I felt free. I could finally run the company my way and be the person I wanted to be. And who is that? Serena asked softly. Cairo turned and looked at her seriously. Someone worthy of you. Someone who builds something that lasts, not just a company, but a life, a family. The word family floated in the air between them. Dinner was amazing. Pasta with a rich sauce from his grandmother's recipe. They sat at the small kitchen table instead of the big dining room. Serena felt completely at peace. This was the real Cairo, not the fancy businessman, but the man who loved books and cooking and who looked at her with love. After dinner, they sat in the living room with more wine. Serena walked over to the bookshelf. You have first editions, she said, touching one carefully. Another one of my little rebellions, Cairo said. My father only bought art that went up in value. I buy books because I love them. Serena turned to see him looking at her with soft eyes. He took her glass, set it down, and gently pulled her into his arms. This kiss was different, strong and sure. Serena held on to him, her hands in his hair. "Stay with me tonight," Cairo whispered. "Not because I have a penthouse or a company. Stay because I love you." Instead of answering, Serena kissed him again. All her fear melted away. This moment felt like home. Later, lying in bed together, Cairo drew soft shapes on her shoulder. "What are you thinking?" he asked. "I never expected this," she said. "You, us, any of it." "Are you still scared?" he asked. "Yes," she answered honestly, "but not scared enough to run away." He held her tighter. "Good, because I wouldn't let you get far," he teased. She looked up at him. "Would you chase me across the world?" His blue eyes were serious. "Now that I've found you, Serena Reed, I'm never letting you go." The next morning, sunlight came through the window. Cairo was already dressed. He sat on the edge of the bed, smiling at her. "Good morning, beautiful," he said and kissed her forehead. "I have a meeting, but there's breakfast in the kitchen. Stay as long as you like." "What time is it?" she asked, stretching. "Just after 7, he said. "I left a key on the counter. Use it to lock up or keep it. Come back anytime. This place feels like home when you're in it." The gift of a key should have scared her, but instead it made her feel happy and warm. "That's a big step," she said. "The first of many, I hope," he said and kissed her again before leaving. Later, Serena walked around the penthouse in one of Cairo's shirts. In the kitchen, she found a full breakfast, fruit, yes, croissants, coffee, and next to the key, a single wildflower and a note that said, "For all the mornings to come." She was falling in love fast, and this time she wasn't trying to stop it. The next few months were full of joy. Cairo and Serena became a couple. At work, they stayed professional, but everyone knew they were together. "You've changed him," Richard told Serena one day. "He listens more now. He thinks about other people's ideas. The board is impressed." Serena changed too. She spoke up more in meetings. She took risks with her work. Cairo always cheered her on. When she got a promotion to creative director, she worried people would think it was because of Cairo. "You earned it," he said. "Your work speaks for itself." Their lives began to come together in happy ways. Cairo made space in his closet for her clothes. She showed him her favorite small restaurants. They spent quiet weekends reading or exploring the city. It wasn't always perfect. Sometimes they argued or misunderstood each other. Cairo's work took him away. Serena still got nervous when she saw photos of him with models, but they always talked through it. They kept learning and growing together. Then came Milan Fashion Week, the biggest event for Cairo's company. This time, it was very special. Cairo was showing a new fashion line made with love for the planet. "I want you to come with me," he told Serena at dinner, "not just as my girlfriend, but as part of the creative team. Your work on the campaign has been amazing." Serena was not sure if she should go to Milan. Going there meant stepping into Cairo's world. There would be cameras, news reporters, and lots of people watching. "There will be a lot of attention," she said. "Your old girlfriends will be there. People will talk." "Let them," Cairo said with a smile. "And if I'm proud to have you by my side, Serena. You mean everything to me." So Serena said yes. She spent the next few weeks getting ready. The company made posters and videos. People from the news wanted to talk to her. Serena was now the face of the company's biggest fashion show ever. The night before they flew to Milan, Cairo took her to a small tea shop. It was the same place they had their very first date. They sat at the same table, drank the same tea, and talked about the past. "Do you remember what you asked me that day?" Cairo asked. Serena nodded. She remembered asking why he picked her. "I said something about how you see the real me," Cairo said. "But now I know the truth is simpler." He held her hand and looked into her eyes. "I chose you because I can't imagine life without you. You make everything better just by being there." He stood up and walked around the table. Then, to her big surprise, he went down on one knee. The tea shop went quiet. Serena's heart beat very fast. "Serena Reed," Cairo said, his voice soft, "you walked into my life and changed everything. You didn't care about my money or my name. You saw the real me. He pulled out a small box and opened it. Inside was a beautiful ring. It wasn't too big, but it had a deep blue sapphire surrounded by little diamonds. It's the same color as your eyes, he said. I had it made just for you. Will you marry me? Not because I'm Cairo Ree, but because I'm just a man who loves you more than anything. Tears filled Serena's eyes. She looked at him and said, Yes, Cairo, I'll marry you. Cairo smiled big and happy. He put the ring on her finger and gave her a kiss. Everyone in the tea shop clapped. That night, they drank sparkling juice on the balcony of their home. The city lights twinkled like stars. Are you happy? Cairo asked. Yes, Serena said, but I'm a little nervous. This ring is going to get a lot of attention in Milan. Let it, Cairo laughed. I want the whole world to know you chose me. The next morning, they were almost ready to leave for the airport, but Cairo got a phone call and went into his office. Serena packed her bags, the ring shining on her finger. She still couldn't believe she was going to marry him, but when Cairo came out of his office, he didn't look happy. What's wrong? She asked. Just a small business problem, he said. Nothing to worry about. But he didn't look at her. This was the first time he acted this way. Talk to me, she said gently. We're partners now, remember? It's complicated, Cairo said. There's news about one of our suppliers, something about them not treating workers well. I need to fix it before the show. I'll help you, Serena said. No, Cairo shook his head. I need you to go ahead to Milan with the team. I'll come tomorrow. Serena felt something was wrong. Why was he pushing her away? I can stay and help, she said again. Please, Serena, I need you in Milan. She didn't understand, but she agreed. She trusted Cairo. She believed in him. But on the long flight to Milan, she couldn't stop worrying. What if the problem was worse? Or what if he was having second thoughts about marrying her? When she landed, there were messages from her team, but none from Cairo. She checked into her hotel and went to meetings. She tried to focus, but she was very worried. That night, her phone rang. It was Cairo. Hey, she said, feeling better. I've been worried. I'm fine, Cairo said, but his voice sounded cold. Are you sure you're okay? Serena asked. I'm just tired, he said. Then he added, about the engagement, we should keep it quiet for now. With the supplier problem, it's not the right time to tell everyone. Serena felt sad. This didn't sound like the man who proposed to her. I don't understand, she said. There's nothing to worry about, Cairo said, but then she heard a woman's voice in the background. Who's with you? She asked. My assistant, Cairo said quickly. We're working late. But something didn't feel right. Tell me the truth, Serena said, almost crying. I have to go, Cairo said. We'll talk tomorrow. I love you, Serena. Then the call ended. Serena stared at her phone. The ring on her finger now felt heavy and strange. She couldn't sleep, so she went down to the hotel bar for some tea. There weren't many people there, but one woman sitting in the corner looked familiar. The woman came over to her. Excuse me, she said with a soft voice. You're Serena Reed, right? From Ree Fashion? Yes, Serena said carefully. The woman smiled. I thought so. I've seen your photo with my son. Your son? Yes, she said. I'm Elelanina Ree, Cairo's mother. Serena was shocked. Cairo told her his mother lived in France and that they weren't close. He never said she would be at Fashion Week. He's never brought a girlfriend here before, Elelanina said. Her eyes looked at Serena's ring. And he's never given anyone that ring before. You recognize it? Serena asked. Yes, she said. It was my mother's ring, Cairo's grandmother, a family treasure. But Cairo said he had it made for me. Serena whispered. Elelanina's face grew sad. That is the first of many lies, I'm afraid. Before Serena could say anything, Elelanina's phone buzzed. She looked at it, then stood up. I must go. But it was nice meeting you, Miss Reed. Perhaps we'll talk again soon. She walked away, but left something behind. A business card. Serena picked it up. On the back was a note. Meet me tomorrow at 10 a.m. at Cafe Romano. There are things about my son you need to know before the wedding. Serena stared at the note. What did Cairo's mother mean? What secrets was Cairo hiding? Why was she surprised about the ring? That night, Serena barely slept. She looked at her ring and thought about everything that had happened. The next morning, it was foggy outside. Serena wore a black dress and jacket. She didn't know what to expect. She found Cafe Romano on a quiet street. She sat in the corner, watching the door. At exactly 10, Ella Lanina walked in. She looked graceful in a cream suit. "Thank you for coming," she said. "I wasn't sure you would." "Why not?" Serena asked. "Because you love my son," she said softly. "And sometimes we don't want to hear the truth if it might hurt." They ordered drinks. Ella Lanina had espresso. Serena had tea. After a moment, Ella Lanina said, "You're wearing my mother's ring, the one Cairo's father gave me when we got engaged. I gave it back when I left him." Serena looked at the ring. "Cairo said he had it made for me." Ella Lanina looked sad. "That's the first of many lies, I'm afraid." She sat quietly and put her spoon down. "Miss Reed," Vivian said, "how much do you know about my son's life before he took over the company?" Serena nodded. "I know he worked in different parts of the company to learn the business, and he once thought about becoming a photographer instead." She remembered Cairo telling her stories during quiet times together. She also remembered that he had said his relationship with his father was complicated. Vivian laughed softly, but it didn't sound happy. "That's one way to say it." She leaned closer. "What did Cairo tell you about me? About why I left?" "Not much," Serena replied honestly. "He just said you live in France now and that you two aren't close." Vivian slowly nodded. "I expected that. Cairo has always been good at changing the story to fit what he wants." She sipped her espresso and looked straight at Serena. "I don't live in France, Miss Reed. I live in New York. I've lived there since the divorce, except for 3 years when I tried to fix my relationship with Cairo." Serena's eyes widened. This was not what Cairo had told her. But Cairo said, "My son says many things," Vivian said gently, "but the truth is often more complicated." She reached into her purse and pulled out a small photo album. She pushed it across the table. "Before I explain why I asked you here, I want you to see these." Serena opened the album with shaking hands. The first photo showed a younger Cairo, maybe 25 years old, smiling with a pretty brunette girl. They looked very happy and in love. "Her name was Isolde," Vivian said softly. "They met in college. She was studying to become a teacher for children with special needs. She didn't come from a rich family. She had no connections. But she had a kind heart and truly loved my son." Serena turned the page. There were more pictures. Cairo and Isolde at the beach, at family dinners, building a snowman. "They were engaged," Vivian continued. "Cairo gave her that ring, the one you're wearing now. His father was very angry. The Reese family expected him to marry someone rich and powerful, not someone like Isolde." Serena felt her heart grow cold. "What happened to her?" she asked quietly. "Cairo chose the company," Vivian said. "His father told him he had to pick Isolde or the Reese family's money and power. He couldn't have both. So he broke up with her?" Serena whispered. "In the cruelest way." Vivian's voice grew hard. "He told her he never really loved her, that she was just someone he used while he figured out his life. He told her she wasn't good enough for the Reese family." Serena felt sick. This didn't sound like her Cairo, the man who cooked for her, who listened to her dreams, who looked at her with so much love. "I left Magnus, Cairo's father, not long after that," Vivian said. "I couldn't stand what he was turning Cairo into. I tried to stay close to my son, but it was too late. He was already cold and focused only on success." She turned to the last photo in the album. It showed Vivienne with a woman who looked like an older Isolde. "Isolde and I stayed in touch," Vivienne explained. "She healed. She married a kind man and had children, but she never forgot how Cairo treated her." Serena gently closed the album and pushed it back. "Why are you telling me this now?" she asked. Vivian's eyes were sad. Because history is repeating itself, Miss Reed. Last month, Cairo called me for the first time in years. He said he met someone who made him rethink everything. That someone was you. Serena stayed quiet. I was hopeful, Vivian continued. I thought maybe he was finally changing. But then yesterday I got a call from Magnus's old lawyer. Serena's stomach dropped. What did he say? He told me Cairo had started the process to get the final part of his inheritance, the part Magnus only allowed if Cairo married someone good enough for the Reese name. Serena felt like she'd been punched. Had Cairo only proposed to her for money? Wait, there's more, Vivian said gently. The lawyer also said Cairo planned for the marriage to be short, maybe a year or two, then a quiet divorce. Serena felt dizzy. She held the table to steady herself. I don't believe you, she said, but her voice was shaking. Cairo loves me. He told me I'm the only one who sees the real him. My dear, Vivian said softly, that's what he told Isolde too, word for word. Tears filled Serena's eyes, but she didn't let them fall. Why would he do this? She asked. He already runs the company. He has money. He has everything. That last part of Magnus's estate is very big, Vivian explained. It includes property, art, and hidden money overseas. But more than that, it's about control. It was Magnus's final way of making sure Cairo stayed the man he wanted him to be, even from the grave. Serena thought about all their moments together. Were they all fake? Was she just a challenge for him, a woman he could use? What about the supplier problem? The reason he didn't come to Milan with me? She asked. There is no supplier issue, Vivian said sadly. Cairo was meeting with the family lawyers to prepare the money transfer for after the wedding. Everything made sense now. The quick proposal, wanting to go public. Then keeping it secret. It was all part of a plan. I should have listened to my instincts, Serena whispered. I knew men like him don't fall for women like me. Don't say that, Vivian said sharply. You are smart, kind, and strong. My son's mistakes are not your fault. Serena looked down at the ring. It was just a reused piece of jewelry. It meant nothing now. She slowly took it off and placed it on the table. Thank you for telling me the truth, she said as she stood up. What will you do now? Vivian asked. Serena stood tall. My job. There's a fashion show to launch. After that, I'll figure out the rest. As she walked away, Vivian called out, Miss Reed, Serena, I'm truly sorry. I think my son does care about you. Maybe not the way he said, but something real. It doesn't matter, Serena replied. Some things can't be forgiven. Outside, the fog had lifted. The sun was shining through. Serena walked back to her hotel. Her heart ached, but her mind was clear. She had been right all along. She just hadn't listened to her own advice. Back at the hotel, everyone was busy getting ready for the show. When they saw Serena, they looked relieved and pulled her into the work. She threw herself into the tasks. When someone asked about Cairo, she just said he was delayed. No one noticed her missing ring. By evening, everything was ready. The show was held in a beautiful old building, decorated with earth-friendly materials. The models were backstage and important people were starting to arrive. Serena stood off to the side, checking final details. Then she heard a voice behind her. There you are. She turned. It was Cairo, wearing a perfect suit and smiling like nothing had happened. He leaned in to kiss her, but Serena stepped back. Mr. Reese, she said coolly, we weren't sure you'd make it. Cairo looked confused. His eyes moved to her left hand and saw the ring was gone. Where is? We need to talk, Serena said, but not now. The show starts in 30 minutes. To hell with the show, Cairo said, reaching for her arm. What's going on? I met your mother this morning, Serena said calmly. His face went pale. My mother? She's here? She told me about Isolde, about your father's will, about your plan to marry me for a short time. Serena, I can explain. I'm sure you can, she said. You're very good at talking. But right now, we have a show to run. We can talk later. She turned back to her assistant and ignored him. Cairo stood there for a moment, then walked away and took his front row seat. The fashion show was a big success. Everyone loved the designs. Buyers were already placing orders before the show even ended. The head designer pulled Serena onto the runway to thank her. The crowd clapped loudly. From the stage, she could see Cairo in the front row, his face showing many emotions. At the after-party in the garden, fairy lights twinkled and everyone was happy. Serena smiled, greeted people, and acted like nothing was wrong. Then Cairo appeared again. "Can we talk?" he asked, pulling her to a quiet spot. "You've avoided me all night," he said. "Please, let me explain." "What's there to explain?" Serena said calmly. "You needed a wife for your inheritance. I was perfect. Not too famous. Not too hard to control. You played the long game, Cairo. I'm almost impressed." "That's not what happened," he said. "Yes, the will had conditions. Yes, I knew about them, but that's not why I proposed." "Then why all the lies?" she asked. "Why hide our engagement? Why meet secretly with lawyers? Why lie about the ring?" "I panicked," he admitted. "When the lawyers called, I realized how it would look. I thought you wouldn't believe my feelings were real." "So you lied again," Serena said. "That doesn't help." "The ring," Cairo said, "it was my grandmother's. I gave it to Isolde a long time ago, but I didn't tell you because that part of my life has nothing to do with us." "Except that you broke her heart," Serena said, "just like you planned to break mine." "No," Cairo said loudly, getting upset. People nearby started looking their way. He lowered his head and looked very sad. "Isolde was different. I was different back then. I was young and had to do whatever my father said. What I did to her was terrible. I can't take it back, but I'm not that person anymore." "Are you sure?" Serena asked, looking right into his eyes. "Your mom showed me the papers, Cairo. You asked for a short-term marriage." Cairo looked very surprised. "What? No, I never asked for that." Then he stopped and looked like he suddenly understood something. "Gideon, my dad's lawyer. He must have added that without telling me." "How convenient," Serena said in a calm but not so happy voice. "It's the truth," Cairo said quickly. "My mom has always thought badly of me. After what happened with Isolde, she never believed I could change. Can you blame her? No." That one word showed just how sorry he was. "But Serena," he said softly, "you changed me. When I met you, I didn't care about any inheritance. I liked you because you were the first person who saw the real me. You made me want to be better." He reached for her hands. This time, Serena didn't pull away. "Call Gideon," Cairo said. "Ask him who really asked for that clause. It wasn't me." His blue eyes looked desperate. "I love you, Serena. The real me loves the real you. That's the only thing that matters." For a moment, Serena almost believed him. His sad eyes and shaky voice seemed real. But then she remembered how easily he had made her fall in love before, how perfectly he'd said everything. "I can't do this," she said, pulling her hands away. "Even if you're telling the truth, there have been too many lies, Cairo. I don't know what's real anymore." "Believe in us," he begged. "Everything we shared was real. The talks, the quiet times, the plans, none of it was about money." "Maybe," Serena said. "Or maybe you're just changing your plan now that I know the truth." Cairo looked heartbroken. "You really think that, after everything we've been through?" "I don't know what to think," Serena said, stepping back. "I need time. I need space. I need to get away from you, from all of this." "What are you saying?" he asked. "I'm saying goodbye, Cairo." She stood tall. "I'll finish the Milan project from home, then I'll quit when I go back to New York." Cairo looked scared. "Serena, please." "I trusted you," she said, her voice cracking. "I broke every rule I made for myself because I thought you were different. But in the end, you're just like all the others. You think what you want is more important than my heart." Then she turned and walked away. This time, she didn't look back. 1 year later, a small cafe near Central Park was quiet on Tuesday afternoons. That's why Serena liked working there. Her laptop was open. A cup of tea sat beside her. She was looking at designs for a new client. After leaving Refashion, she started her own creative business. It was called Authentic Voice. 1 year later, the company was doing really well. Clients liked how honest and simple Serena was. She had changed. She was braver now and more careful with her heart. The hurt from Cairo was now just a small ache. It only came back sometimes, like late at night when she wondered if any of it had been real. The bell on the cafe door jingled, but Serena didn't look up. She was almost done with her work. "Is this seat taken?" That voice made her whole body freeze. Slowly, Serena looked up. It was Cairo Ree. He looked the same, but also different. He wore jeans and a sweater instead of a fancy suit. His hair was a little longer. His face looked older, as if the year had been hard on him. "What are you doing here?" she asked. "Looking for you," Cairo said softly. "May I sit?" After a moment, Serena nodded. He sat down slowly, like he didn't want to scare her. "How did you find me?" she asked. "I didn't," he said. "I come here sometimes too. The owner makes tea just the way you like it." Serena looked at his face, trying to see if he was still the tricky man she'd run from. But she didn't see that man. She saw someone who looked tired, hopeful, and maybe... "Sorry, you look well," Cairo said. "I saw your company's website. You're doing great." "Thank you," Serena said, closing her laptop. "What about you? Still the boss of your company?" Cairo's face got sad. "No, I stepped down 6 months ago." That surprised Serena. "Why?" "A lot of reasons," he said, tracing circles on the table. "After you left, I thought a lot about who I had become, about my father's shadow. I realized I didn't like who I was when I only cared about power." "So you just walked away?" "Not completely. I'm still on the board and help with green projects. But I gave the daily job to people who care for the right reasons." "What do you do now?" A real smile lit up Cairo's face. "Photography. I went back to my first love. I take pictures of nature projects around the world." He showed her pictures on his phone of gardens in cities and solar lights in faraway villages. Even though she tried not to, Serena was impressed. "These are beautiful, Cairo." "Thank you," he said. "But that's not why I came today. I need to tell you something. Then I'll leave if that's what you want." Serena sat up straight. "I'm listening. After you left Milan, I talked to my mom. She told me the truth. She lied to you about the short-term marriage. There was no such thing in the papers." Serena gasped. "Why would she lie?" "To protect you," Cairo said gently. "She saw how strong you were. She wished she had left a reman when she had the chance. She didn't want you to get hurt like she did." "And the inheritance?" "That part was true. My dad said I had to marry someone he liked to get half of our money." Cairo shook his head. "But he never would have liked you. You're too strong and honest. He would have seen you as a threat." Serena sat quietly. "So, you didn't marry me for the money?" "No." Cairo leaned closer. "I wanted to marry you because I loved you. You made me want to be better, but I was scared. If you knew about the money, I thought you'd never believe I really loved you. So I stayed quiet, and that made it worse." They sat in silence. The past year felt heavy in the air. "I gave up the inheritance," Cairo said. "I told the lawyers to give all of it to schools and kids programs, every penny." Serena's eyes grew wide. "You gave away half your family's fortune?" "Money didn't matter anymore," Cairo said. "Not after I lost you." He reached across the table, but didn't touch her. "I'm not saying all this to win you back. I know I broke your trust. Some things can't be fixed." "Then why are you here?" she whispered. "Because you deserve the truth, all of it. And because, even though I don't deserve it, I want to know if there's even the smallest chance that we could start again. Not from where we left off, but from the beginning, as new people who've learned from their mistakes." Serena looked at him, not as a rich CEO, but just as Cairo, a man with hopes, regrets, and a new life. The man she once loved. "I don't know," she said. "I've worked hard to build a life without you." Disappointment flashed in Cairo's eyes, but he nodded. "I understand. It was selfish to ask." He started to stand up. "Cairo," Serena said, surprising herself. "Maybe we could start with tea." He froze. A small light of hope lit up his face. "Tea only," she said. "No promises, no big hopes, just two people talking again." He smiled, the warm smile she remembered. "I'd like that very much," he said gently. He went to the counter to order. Serena watched him. A strange calm filled her heart. She didn't know if she could fully trust him again. Maybe the pain was still too deep. But maybe this new Cairo deserved a chance to show who he really was. Maybe she had grown too. Grown enough to protect her heart but still leave it open a little. When Cairo came back with 2 cups of tea, their fingers touched for a second. It felt warm and familiar. "To new beginnings?" he said, raising his cup. "To the truth," Serena replied, looking into his eyes, "whatever it turns out to be." Outside, the spring sunshine shone through the windows, lighting up their table. A new season. A fresh start. Nothing promised, nothing certain, but for the first time in a year, Serena looked not at what she had lost, but at what she just might find. Thanks for watching. If you liked the story, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Check out our other videos too. See you in the next one.